Alrighty, here we go again. We got a little change of pace today. I am playing Omnath. Just been playing this deck a little bit, maybe about 20 or 30 games recently. It's been performing pretty well, outside of random fluke losses to things like green-white and black-red, the kind of things that control decks eat for breakfast, but that often give mono-green trouble. Big flyers and things like that you can't deal with. I actually lost a really pretty tight, close game that I may record anyway, where I make a kind of dumb blunder at the end. Completely forgot about the ability for Avacyn Archangel to flip over. And, basically top decked a Miracle Mindslaver. And unfortunately, because of Vigilance, I wasn't able to get my opponent to completely tap all of his creatures. And then I blocked one of his attackers that I made attack, and it flipped the Angel and killed my entire board except for Omnath. And anyway, it's a long, convoluted story, but that's an example of the kind of games that you sometimes lose with Omnath, which are a little bit fluky. But overall, the deck's amazing, and it really seems to punish control decks a ton. It gives real fits to my Nin deck. It's got legs against Edric sometimes. Edric's probably one of its worst matchups just because Edric has equal amounts of acceleration as well as counter spells and bounce and stuff, which can be nightmarish. And theft, of course, is always a problem. It's kind of a gimmicky deck, but it's fun and it does flashy things. This game's pretty fantastic. So I'm going second, and I'm up against the Gitrog monster. This creature's extremely cool and flavorful. A giant frog that eats all your lands. And it seems it's got amazing synergies with a lot of cards. Anything that dumps cards into the graveyard rapidly allows you to draw tons of extras and play extra lands, and you can often circumvent that drawback quite easily and actually accelerate mana. Has insane synergy with cycling lands, with Life from the Loam, with anything that allows you to draw and discard. I think it's probably best in blue, black, green. Obviously, you can't run it as a general in a deck like that, but in a blue, black, green deck, it does crazy things. But overall, it's a pretty awesome creature. One of my favorite cards that they've made recently, and I've run into it a number of times as a general. Certainly can give Omnath fits, no questions, in the right colors to do that, and hard to deal with a 6/6 Death Touch. My hand is right on the edge of keepability, given I have only one force. Like, how much better is this hand if I have just one more land? This hand is insane if I have one more land. But the fact that I've got Sylvan and Priest of Titania as well as another elf to go with it gives me the incentive to keep it. And plus I'm going second, so I've got an extra draw step to bail my way out. All right. It's not Soul Ring. It is Deathrite Shaman, though, which is still pretty good. Get these generals out of here. All right. Well, we just need to top deck a land to get going. Reclamation Sage. Excellent. An elf, but not what we need right now. I'm not going to be sacking this Windswept Heath to cast Skull Clamp just because I need to maximize the number of forests in my deck, since I need to draw one so badly. Cannot afford to thin even one land right now. Traverse the Ulvenwald. Okay. Yeah, I can see why this is in his deck, given that it's sort of like a Demonic Tutor once you've cycled some stuff away. And I'm sure that he's got many ways to do that. He's just fetching a basic land. All right, come on, deck. Deliver the goods. Green Sun Zenith. Well, it's quasi-land. Unfortunately, I have to sack the Windswept Heath right now. Just going to give him food for his Deathrite Shaman. But I got to do this. Go get the Dryad Arbor. Feeling a little weak right now, I got to say it. Down basically 2 mana to 4. He drains me for 2 at the end of the turn. All right. And eats my land, so 4 mana is coming. What is it going to be? Diabolic Tutor. Okay, well, obviously it buys me a turn. I got to think now, what the hell is he going to get? There's a lot of things he could get. Honestly, I'm most concerned about something like Persecute. Persecute would just be basically GG. And I'm going to have to just assume that he got that card, given that anyone that would play with Diabolic Tutor in a 2-color deck might be playing with Persecute anyway. It just seems like the kind of color he might use. Unfortunately, I did not draw another land here, so I don't even have the option of casting the Kodama's Reach or my general. So I'm going to just do the Persecute Insurance, expecting full well to lose my entire hand next turn and just play Sylvan. At least he probably didn't. He couldn't have tutored for some way to deal with that preemptively. Bazaar Baghdad. All right, well, if ever there was a card that has some disparity between its online cost and its real-world cost, it's the Bazaar. It's probably the biggest disparity of all, except for maybe those Eternal Masters card, Vintage Masters cards, the Lotus and so on. Dark Blast. Brutal. God, that's horrible for me. All right, down to 1 land. And he cycles with Bazaar and throws away 2 lands and a Signet. So that's a perfect example, like how insane this card is with Gitrog Monster. I mean, God, drawing 2 extra cards off those 2 swamps. And he throws away. Oh, okay. So the reason why those actually went away was because he dredged the Dark Blast, which will be important later on. Throws away Insanguinate. Can't imagine why he's playing with any of these cards, but I'm sure he has his reasons. Mongrel makes sense. All right. Well, Sylvan should deliver the goods, and there's a Forest right on top, so we're not totally screwed. And Beast Within. That's really nice. Well, I'm certainly just going to take the... I'm actually only taking 4 here extra because there's another land on top which I fully intend to take next turn, and I don't want to pay life. I don't want to pay life needlessly, especially with the Deathrite Shaman out. I can't really deal with this creature very well, and if I wind up taking a bunch of damage here, it could become a factor, especially if I've taken an extra 20 or something off my Sylvan. And unfortunately, I can't play the Priest right now because we saw him just dredge the Dark Blast. Fauna Shaman doesn't do anything for me. So my intention actually is to play Lightning Greaves. And on the following turn, I know I've got another Forest on top. It does give me quite a few options. If he taps out, I can play the Priest of Titania and immediately Greaves it, which will make 2 green, and then I can ramp out into... It'll pay for itself, basically, and I can ramp out into Fauna Shaman. Or I can cast Omnath as well. There's a lot of good choices. So I'm just going to play Greaves. It gives me a lot of flexibility next turn. It does not drain me at the end of the turn. I guess he really, really wanted that Insanguinate in the graveyard. Cabal Ritual. Aha! Now it makes sense. He wanted Threshold. He probably could have drawn another land off Bazaar Baghdad, most likely, and discarded this Cabal Ritual, maybe, just to cycle more cards. And that would have allowed him to play a land and use Deathrite Shaman for the final mana to cast his monster. But he's going the safe route instead, which is fine. Alright, the Giant Frog is out. We are very, very far behind right here. Alright, let's see what the Sylvan delivers. Forest. Natural Order. Fantastic. And another Forest. Okay, on this turn we're definitely going to take the full amount, I think. Oh, no, that's right. We put the Natural Order back because I have no use for it this turn. And again, I want to save some life here. I'm just going to take 4 extra. Alright, can't do anything. And now I actually think this through, and I realize he really, really wants to tap Bazaar Baghdad during the end step. Like, definitely wants to tap it, because he probably has at least 1 or 2 lands in hand that he's going to feed to it. So he'll tap the Bazaar to effectively draw 4 at the end of the turn, which is just madness. So I need to deal with Froggy. And the way to deal with the Frog, of course, is with Beast Within. But the timing is important. I can't just tap 3 mana right now to Beast Within to get Gitrog Monster. I have to wait for him to move first, even if that means that I may have to discard, which is completely acceptable. I'd probably throw away the Clamp here. Maybe the Reclamation Sage. But hopefully he just takes the bait and uses his thing at the end of the turn. So I'm just going to say done with 8 cards in hand. We go to end step. I mean, I guess he doesn't really affect his play very much, just because, I mean, what is he going to give me credit for, right? Mono Green's singular answer to Gitrog Monster at instant speed. But sure enough, taps Bazaar, and I have the Beast Within. He pauses for a long time, thinking if he can do anything. And now the Bazaar doesn't look so juicy. Has to throw away 3 cards, and sure enough, 2 land. And the Dark Blast that he dredged earlier. That would have been catastrophic if if he had been able to do that. It's sort of a game of chicken there, but I can't really keep 3 mana untapped while I'm getting beaten in the face for 6 every turn. Alright, 3 mana, Crossing Grip. And I really got to question the the decision to go after Lightning Greaves over Sylvan Library. I mean, I guess maybe he's really concerned about Omnath, but he only has 1 card in hand anyway, and Sylvan's just gonna feed me all sorts of goodness. I guess maybe he figures he can do 5 a turn. I can't really take that much damage off of it, and he's actually right about that. But I have to use it anyway, probably, no matter what. I don't have the luxury, even if it means I'm losing an extra 2 per turn unblockable. Okay, natural order is great. Come on, Sylvan. Ooh, Wasteland. Okay, that's great. Well, we're going to take another 4. And because he got rid of the Greaves, actually, I can't play the Priest of Titania now and use it. So we're just going to get rid of the Bazaar right now. Keep his mana development under control. And now Gitrog monster costs 7. So there was a little temptation to kill a basic land over it. But Bazaar does grotesque things, especially in decks that are designed to abuse it. So I can't really let him have it. All right, so we're just going to cast more mana here. We have a long-term game plan here. So it drains me for 2 more. Still got some time. Evolving Wilds. Smash. Down to 17. This thing is starting to make me nervous. All right, come on, deck. Forest. Life's Legacy, not too useful right now, and Sakura Tribuilder. Okay. Well, we're only going to take 1 card this turn, given that the Forest is redundant, and I have no use for Life's Legacy right now at all. Talk about an insane card that sometimes just does nothing. All right, I'm playing the Tribuilder, and I'm casting Priest of Titania. So this is just giving him a Dark Blast target. I figure if he wastes his draw step getting Dark Blast... Oh, actually, I guess he's got it in hand. No, it's right there. Then he's not drawing anything else meaningful, and he's certainly not drawing more land to get the Gitrog monster out. So this is just accepting that it's going to get killed by Dark Blast, which is fine. I really want 6 mana next turn anyway. And of course, there's no reason not to cast Skull Clamp. I lose 2 more. Down to 15. This also gives me a blocker against the Beast, which is quite nice. And Dark Blast is still in the graveyard. Yawgmoth's Will. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Alright. So, Cabal Ritual, 2 spells, plays a land, 3 spells, Krosan Grip on Sylvan Library. What the hell? I'm at 15, man. I do not understand that play at all. Considering that he could have just Dark Blasted out of the graveyard and then cast a Tendrils for 10 damage, dropping me to 5 with a Deathrite Shaman in play. I cannot fathom why he did that. And there's enough spells in our graveyards to kill me too. Within 3 turns, that would have put me on such a short clock. It would have been extremely difficult to survive this game, I think. But instead of casting the Tendrils, he decides to just kill my relatively useless Sylvan now. And he does have the Dark Blast though, and a Vampiric Tutor. Wow. Okay. Could have also. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Alright, well, we certainly block here. Down to 15. He's out of cards, but he's back to 7 mana, which means Gitrog Monster comes out next turn. I am still not remotely comfortable in this game yet. And, of course, there's the Deathrite Shaman ticking. Alright, well, I knew it was on top of my deck. That's Strip Mine. And now we've got 6 mana. So I'm going to get rid of Woodland Cemetery. Oh, that's right, I'm clamping here. Makes a lot more sense. So I'm going to clamp the Shaman. And we're going to sack off the Fauna Shaman to go get... Oh, and I drew Genesis Wave, which is quite nice. Definitely getting Terastodon there. And I've got to kill 2 black sources as well as my own Skull Clamp. Just because at 15 life, with him having active Deathrite Shaman, I cannot afford to give him 3 beasts. If he just sends in all 4 beasts at me, I can block 1, I still take 9 damage, and then I lose an additional 2 to Deathrite Shaman, so that would take me down to just 4. And I would die on the next attack step. So I got to kill my own Skull Clamp. I certainly need the mana. And the Clamp's already run out of use anyway. This at least gives me some degree of parity. If he attacks with everything, I can take 3 damage instead of 9. And kill one of the attackers. 2 mana. He's casting... Oh, he drew life from the loam. Okay, that's fine. It's going to allow him to rebuild fairly quickly. But no attack, which is key. Cradle. Wow. What an insane top deck that is. Man, okay. Well, suddenly we're back in this. I'm going to play Reclamation Sage and kill this Signet. Because again, I got to keep him off that 7. And strip mine here. It's funny how I'm like strip mining and destroying mana against a guy who's got life from the loam going, but it's so critical he just doesn't hit 7. He uses the guy to drain me to 13. Alright, that's fine. And we're going to play Omnath finally. But look at this. 4 guys and a Gaia's Cradle. I have a little particular spell in hand that might be useful in a turn or two. Alright, he just says done. End step. 4 green. Omnath going large. True regrowth. Also quite nice, but that probably won't matter. Alright then. 15 mana floating. Absolutely no reason to attack. I'm going to cast Genesis Wave for 12. Just like that. How crazy. That Cradle made so much mana, it's absurd. And off this 12 cards, obviously these go away, I would get Forest, 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 Gilded Lotus, Sword of Feast and Famine against an all-green board, Mindslaver. Unbelievable. I'm just clicking on everything here. There they all are. Unreal. Look at that. The Mindslaver comes directly into play, and I have the ability to equip Omnath, attack it unimpeded, because I know he's got basically nothing in his hand, and hit him for a ton of damage. Although it might actually make some more sense to throw the sword on the Terastodon. But either way, I get to float, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 green, untap. And I've got a total of, what is that, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 green mana. Plus I'm Mindslavering him. Obviously I have him just attack with his team, and then I just smash him for Omnath for 50 damage on the next turn. And knowing that that's coming, he packs it right in to end this pretty cool game. I thought this was definitely a recording-worthy game just because of all the cool interactions early on, the amount of pressure I faced. And I think this game was actually very likely his to win if he had just decided to Tendrils me instead of randomly casting Croson Grip on the Sylvan Library. Just that single mistake, I think, gave me a lot more flexibility and allowed me ultimately to win the game. Yeah, he missed an activation on Deathrite Shaman earlier, too. So that would have gotten me to 1. And I guess I would have just died right now. But yeah, one mistake can cost a game. That's how this magic works. And I think I've got some other good games that are worth recording. Hope to have them up soon. See you guys later.